Well, hello, my party people. Welcome back to NRW. I'm your host here today, Rob, the movie guy, and I thank you very much for joining me here today because today I'm reviewing a film that I'm pretty sure many of you have not heard of before, a film called Villain starring Craig Fairbass, George Russo, who also co-wrote the film with Greg Hall, and directed by Philip Barantini, who is making his directorial debut with this movie. Now, before I get into my thoughts, let's go ahead and roll that trailer real quick.
What took you so long?
Oh, come on, bro.
Eddie boy.
Your brother's in a serious bit of trouble.
Well, what's he done?
He's upset some people.
How much you on?
80 grand.
Fill it up now. Move! There's 25 grand.
I said I wanted our money. Either that or we take the pub.
They want the pub. Everything me and you have worked for, all the graft we've put in, it's all out the window. Gone.
Someone come here.
I don't care who it is, we'll go to work and we'll get it back.
Are you in trouble?
I had no choice, it had to be done. Let's stop playing games, eh? I am far too shrewd to let a couple of bully boys like you have me over. Please don't do this to me!
Now, I'm sure my boy Kuya P has the poster somewhere up here for the film Villain. And if you look at that poster, it completely does a disservice for the movie because this poster makes it seem as if it was probably like Taken or a British gangster film. As you can see from the trailer, this is a British movie, but it's not a British gangster film. In fact, it's actually the furthest from that. Although there are elements, as you can see from the trailer, that there are some British gangster elements to that, but it's not that type of film. It's very much a character piece focusing on the character that Craig Fairbass plays, who, in my opinion, delivers one of his best performances. I don't know if a lot of people that may come across our channel here know who Craig Fairbass is, but he's been an actor that's been around the industry for a number of years, and one of his most famous parts is in the movie Cliffhanger, where he has a wonderful scene between himself and Michael Rooker in that little mountaintop scene, I meant to say, where he's kicking Michael Rooker's ass and then has his whole soccer commentary, and then Michael Rooker whoops his ass and throws him off and has that wonderful line, "Season's over, asshole." So I love that movie. I loved him in that part. He's not in the film that much, but he definitely is a memorable character in my opinion. So I had been familiar with his work for quite some time, and it wasn't until the last 10 years that I became more invested in his work. Now, I know that there's going to be some people that may look at this film and they may not think that it's a great movie. It's not a terrible film by any means. In fact, I think it's a wonderful film. It does have its flaws, and I'm kind of hesitant about who I would recommend this to. I would certainly go out of my way and say I would recommend it to everybody, and I hope whoever I recommend it to, at least if more than half of them come back and say I like this movie or I love this film, then I believe it achieves what it's meant to do, which is entertain people, have people fall in love with the characters, be intrigued with the story, and then hopefully connect with it. And that's certainly what I've gotten out of this movie. As I mentioned before, that George Russo, who co-wrote the film, in this movie, he also acts as the younger brother to Craig Fairbass's character. This actor in the movie, I think, does a phenomenal job. And from what I understand, and listening to an interview from Craig Fairbass, that George Russo had grown up around that part of the area of East London where there's a lot of gangster elements, drugs, and all sorts of stuff, a lot of dark shit that goes around that area. So he's very much familiar with that lifestyle and was able to bring that authenticity to that script, to the film, and also in his performance, because he has seen that and been around that, and it definitely showcases here in this movie. And I thought he was phenomenal in this film. I will also point out that the actors in general in this movie are fantastic, including the actress who plays Craig Fairbass's daughter, which provides an interesting dynamic between this relationship between himself and his daughter, because Craig Fairbass's character is meant to say, because this isn't a very typical redemption story, because there's a lot of resistance that he is meeting, especially with his daughter. But at the same time, because of his brother's mistakes and the choices he's made, as a result of his choices, there are consequences that unfortunately does involve Craig Fairbass's character, where he has to keep one foot in, one foot out of that gangster life, and he's very reluctant to go back to that because he wants to live a normal life, life with no more violence, no more gangster elements. He just wants to be void of all that, and unfortunately, that's not really the case. He keeps getting forced back into that life, unfortunately, mainly because of his brother, especially when his pub that he has owned for a number of years, that his brother was running while he was in prison, has now become collateral at this point with these gangsters. So there's a lot of issues that he has to overcome in order to help his brother out, because his brother fucked up a lot of things and he's trying to help out his brother to get himself out of that situation. So he's looking out for the best, for the well-being of his brother, unfortunately with some major consequences. I was debating on whether or not if I should get into the movie here as far as what the overall plot is concerned, but that's pretty much the general consensus of this plot. I think this is one of those films that you have to watch and just let the story unfold as you watch, because there are some things that I appreciated that I was not fully privy to, that I learned to enjoy as I was discovering these things along with the character. And as I mentioned before, Craig Fairbass, who is a wonderful actor, he's mostly known for playing a lot of these Cockney, hard-nosed British gangsters. And again, if you're not familiar with his film work, check out his movies that he has done. Rise of the Foot Soldier, 1, 2, and 3. I think one of those films he was only in it for like a quick flashback sequence, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a fourth one that came out, and I believe a possible fifth one that was in the works up until COVID-19. And there's a film that he had done called The Berlin Job, which was on Netflix a while back. I think it might be on Amazon Prime at this point. But I don't know if this is going to be a film that everyone will like, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not a great film, but it was certainly an enjoyable film for me to sit and just take it for what it is. But it was filled with a lot of well-known Cockney actors that I was familiar with, and I was just happy to see that Craig Fairbass was working with these actors and telling a fun story, in my opinion. But in this particular film, he is playing the opposite of that, where he's actually a really nice guy. I mean, there are some guys who are pushing really hard and taking advantage of the situation with him, slapping him around, and I'm not used to seeing him being treated that way unless he and without him retaliating back. And in this film, he certainly doesn't do that up until certain parts of the film. But even then, it's one of those things that it builds up to that moment, because it has to reach to a point where he is at that breaking point where he's got to do what's best for him and his brother. So overall, I think the film is fantastic. I do know that there might be some people who may look at this as a generic story, but I'm hoping people will give it a chance and just watch the film, look at the performances, see how well Mr. Philip Barantini had directed this movie, because being that this is his first film that he's directed, I don't know if he's done any other short films prior to this or any other television work, because I do recall from what I remember hearing from an interview that Craig Fairbass had done, he had worked with him before as an actor, and there was talks about this particular script that he thought he would be good for, because he could bring a new sense of energy, a fresh set of energy for him to take on this genre, take on this story, and give it a whole new perspective from a younger eyes point of views, if you will. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. If I fucked it up, sorry, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at here. But overall, I think this film is very well deserved of your time to at least check it out. It's on Netflix right now. I think it's worth your time to check it out. Enjoy for what it is. And Craig Fairbass, in my opinion, gives his best performance, in my opinion. I know there's another film that has coming out that I don't think has come out in the States as of yet, and it's a film called Muscle, and I plan on reviewing that film when it does come out here in the States. So hopefully by in a matter of weeks, we should be able to have this movie out here in the States, if not maybe by next year. But either way, by the time it comes out, I plan on watching it and having it up in the channel very soon. But while you're here, if you have seen the film, let me know what you think. Put your comments in the comment section down below, and let me know what you guys think of the film. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Based upon this review, are you at least interested in checking this film out? Let me know. And while you're here, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel, and also hit that notification button as well too, because there are plenty of other videos that we are working on right now that we're really excited to upload here for you to check out. So make sure you hit that notification notification button so you're aware of any upcoming videos we got coming down the pipeline. And also, while you're at that, make sure you also check out our social media accounts as well. We have a Facebook and Instagram page at New Release Wednesday and on Twitter at the NRW. And you can follow myself on my social media accounts on Instagram, Rob_Medina0585, and on Twitter at RobMedina0585. And on Facebook, simply just Rob the Movie Guy. And until next time, everybody, thank you very much for joining me here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there, and cheers.